Wow, Wyatt Long comes up short. Breakups to makeups. Liz is Rosa, or is Rosa is Liz? I don't know. Is Isabel dangerous? Say that 3 times fast. Alien autopsies and more. So much more. A hoodie, a belt, and Great Gatsby. We are talking Roswell, New Mexico, Season 1, Episode 7. I Saw the Sign. AfterBuzz Aftershow starts right now.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
We continue the trend of starting each episode with song titles from the decade that the original Roswell, New Mexico got out. I don't know if I Saw the Sign was one of your favorites, but it's a catchy.
One of the greatest songs of all time.
It is. It was a catchy tune, but I wonder if you guys thought this was a catchy episode. Let's find out right here on the AfterBuzz Aftershow as we bring to you all things Roswell, New Mexico. We are talking Season 1, Episode 7, I Saw the Sign. So much happened. We are going to get into Project Shepherd, alien autopsies, Wyatt Long, Max being under investigation every step of the way by Cameron, Maines, Liz, everybody. Maria. Mimi comes into play, falls right under Maria. Isabel, is she dangerous or not? Do we like the idea of the serum? We're going to play our special segment, Who You?, where we pick a scene or a person from the show that relates the most to us. We would love to hear from you at home. And of course, our predictions for future episodes. And special thing is we listen to you at home. You guys were like, we need a female on the panel. George is not enough. So we added a special, amazing, wonderful, talented, and expert female host on the show to give an expert female perspective. Welcoming all the hosts, of course. Next to me is the one and only Jim
Alexander.
That's who he is. And welcoming to the show, Zuri.
I'm Zuri Shalise.
Wow, that voice is going to carry so much weight. And we also have Mr. George Khouri in the building.
Thank you very much for having me.
In the flesh. And I love the new look. You look
So
amazing.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You look amazing. Was the show amazing this week? Let's get some overall thoughts.
The show was absolutely amazing. What I've been waiting for this entire season is to hear another alien insider speak besides the wild podcast man Green. And here we have it, and it hit home through Maria's mom. And that was great to have that added insight, and it made for a great episode.
Was she an insight, or was she actually just recapping Independence Day? That's the craziness factor that comes into play. Zuri, what did you think?
I wasn't expecting to close out the murder so soon in the season. I was wondering, where are they going to take it now that we know who Rosa's killer is?
But do we? That is the mystery that remains to be seen. That's why I love this show so much. Jim.
Just when we think we know something, we don't know. I thought it was a good episode. A lot more clues, things happening. It wasn't amazing, though, George. I think there's more to be left to satisfy us. Kyle wasn't even on it. Can't be amazing without it.
I knew that
Kyle
bothered
was my
Jim.
boy.
Jim is a Super Kyle fan. You know, I will say this about the show. This episode may or may not have been amazing. I wouldn't say it's the best. I really like last week's episode a lot more. However, I really enjoyed this week's episode, and I'll tell you why. The show is growing. It is becoming more open. The characters. We finally, after 7 episodes, finally get some understanding of why Maria's even on the show. Because until now, we had no character arc for Maria or no understanding of who she was or how she plays. So they added her in and gave her lines, which was very nice.
I thought it was tasteful, and I liked the build-up of bringing her in a little later.
Well, I actually didn't appreciate that at all because Maria is coming in, and we'd always assumed that there was a black character on the show, and I never thought it was Maria. I actually found out for the first time that it's Maria. That's not the most common name in the black community is Maria, right? So here we find out, and we see it through her mom and who she is. We find out a lot more about Maria. And the other thing that I really appreciate about this episode is that now that we have an understanding of each and every character, we're looking at them like we don't have to get a backstory every time. Mm-hmm. And that's what they used to do. There used to be a setup, and this is why this person's acting this way. We don't get that now. Now we have a true empathy for each and every character. When Isabel gets mad, we don't have to see her get mad in the past until now. We understand why she's getting upset or feeling the way she does. Even with Noah and bringing Noah back.
Yeah, the relationships are set. It's just the dynamics are switching back and forth. But as far as backstories and stuff, we know even more about Noah now than we ever did.
Exactly. And we get Noah as a lawyer. Here, Noah's always kind of played this almost sidekicky role. We never saw him, and this time he made that phone call, and that was some lawyer-ish. I really like that.
He flexed.
He did.
And I agree with everything that's being said. This show has hit its flow in this episode.
It's hit its flow.
I agree.
So that's why, like, Zuri, did you like the character development like George did, where he said he liked that it took 7 episodes to get to Maria, or would you have liked to have seen Maria sooner?
I like that they took some time because we got to see her mom integrated, and I think that added a lot to the story. That added a lot to this episode. Like, I don't know what this episode would have been without her mom per se, because she added so much. So I like that they integrated her and like.
But
after
I don't
Nice
think
to
they
have
had to
someone
wait.
agree with me.
I know, it's finally someone's agreeing with me, but I wish they had just showed us more Maria before, because until then Maria wasn't even the
She was a fun
Robin to her
friend.
Batman. She was exactly.
She was almost-
This is a best friend who's never there.
Yeah.
Mimi stole her
Sidekicks.
spotlight. Mimi stole Maria's spotlight, pretty much. We got a little bit of Maria finally, but the mom had more important kind of information and focus on her.
New haircut, new gym perspective. I like that. Let's start with Project Shepherd. Project Shepherd being that project that started in 1947 by Lieutenant Colonel Harlem Maines, who we find out is, we're assuming that's Mains's Alex's grandfather, or like Mains's father. That's
Got
what
it.
we're assuming.
That was a
right?
big question
That
mark
was
in
the
my
concept
mind.
of who this person is. So this alien investigation has been in their line of heritage. Is let's find out who these aliens are. This 1947, we find out that there were more aliens than we thought, which we've all predicted on the set, and we also see the 3-point symbol, which comes to play even later, especially in Max's investigation. What were your thoughts on alien autopsy here?
I was intrigued by it when I saw the hand symbol, and it was almost like they were immediately freaked out by it. So the symbol held some kind of immediate weight when they saw it on the hand. And I was curious as to what they actually did discover in that investigation. So if in fact that was Mains's father, now I'm wondering what information did they learn in that autopsy and what was passed down to Maines? Because this whole time I've been feeling that Maines knows something that everyone else doesn't. I thought it would come to service, and it didn't, so I still have that big question mark in my mind.
Maybe someone's marked with these symbols. Maybe some of these characters have this symbol marked on their bodies that we haven't seen yet, and that's how they identify each other and know about each other.
Oh, Max's tattoo.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. Did you believe Max when he said it's just something I doodled as a kid?
Hell no.
I'm not just saying this because I like me some Max, but a lot of people are starting to tend to black out, so there is a possibility that when Max did get this symbol, he may not have been aware.
Yeah, I don't see, like, as if they're trying to hide that they're aliens, I don't understand why you would get that as a tattoo. I don't know. Does that make sense?
No, 100%
Yeah,
it makes sense. I was actually thinking about that, like, wow, that's actually a good point. Like, I'm trying not to be identified as an alien, but I'm getting the one marking that determines me as an alien.
Yeah.
Or the one marking that relates to being an alien, because he did. Are we saying it is a tattoo, or is this actually a mark on all their bodies? that we
Alien
know?
pride, bro.
No, it's gotta be a mark. I don't think they're going, hey, tattoo parlor, hey, yo, can you draw this up?
He said he was
specifically
drunk.
had a story. Yeah, he was like, when I was 21, I thought he was very credible. He reminded me of the kids from Neverland. Like, I really started believing him, right?
That dude's a good liar. We're learning that every week.
Who?
It's Max.
Max
Yeah.
is a good liar.
Yeah, I think he's starting
He's
to turn
really
in-
not a good liar.
I'm
Every time
I'm
he's
starting
a
to
good
think
liar
he's
at
a
all.
I
good
don't think
liar.
he's at all. Every
he's
time
like-
Liz says something, he's just like,
plays
oh,
it
It's
off.
really
okay, fine.
fidgety. Yeah, he gets fidgety
He
and
gets fidgety,
frustrated.
like, and
He
the
plays it off.
accent, the accent, bro. He needs to be a country singer, I swear.
What do you mean, my tattoo?
No, that's Batman. He's
Yeah.
more of a country Batman. It's
You
more
think
like,
so? Maybe.
what do you mean, my tattoo? Like, he's got a twang to it that's like very endearing for me.
I think it's forced.
You hate Max. For some reason, Jim has a problem with Max. We all know this. But is your problem with Max the fact that he's an alien, or that you feel that he is coming off fake? Because you don't have a problem with Michael.
No, I don't have. I like Michael. Michael's got endearing qualities, and he's really kind of the glue of the show. I just think Max, with him, he just doesn't know who he is in a lot of ways. I think he he tries to play tough, and he's not a tough guy at all.
He comes off really sweet. I think he just is a guy who's run by his emotions. He has a very George-like qualities.
Oh, that's a great
George is
quality to
legit.
have.
Like you're very Kyle,
Yeah.
you know, and you are very Max.
Very Max, I take that as a compliment because there's a sincerity to Max that in fact makes him a bad liar.
Did you believe him about the tattoo?
I believe him because I believe what he's saying, and I also believe that he was unaware of it. So he thinks he doodled it, but he was being controlled and
There's
just
more
doesn't
to
know.
it because they showed it first at the Project Shepherd. That's why it all ties in together with Project Shepherd. They show this symbol. So this symbol, and it's a symbol we've seen in the beginning credits. It's a symbol we've seen throughout the show. The circle with the lines, and it's just like, oh. And honestly, when you look at the symbol, it's alien symbol. Like there's no other reason for the symbol to exist.
I keep going back to their 3 eggs when I see that symbol. I like the fact that it's popping up more because before it was like they were teasing it and it was kind of random. And now that it's popping up more, it's like something's about to go down, and I'm getting excited. I'm getting all jittery.
I mean, that's not the only thing we get excited about around here at AfterBuzz TV. George?
That is true. Guys, before we move on to our next topic, we just wanted to say thank you for making us the ESPN of TV talk. But for us to continue to grow, we could use your help. If you're on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And if you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. But no matter where you are, leave us a comment so you can get involved in the conversation, as you have been doing very well. Being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to all of us, and we truly appreciate you supporting us and doing what we love. Don't forget to tell your friends and keep enjoying our shows.
That's actually true, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Even though Zuri is now, this is her first week with us, and we do have the female perspective on the panel. We've had it the whole time because we've had a lot of women commenting in the comments below, and you know, all of you at home are as much, if not more, a part of our panel than we are. We love hearing from you. Please comment below, give us that 5-star rating, and share and subscribe. Also, a lot of us here are on different panels on AfterBuzz, and we'd love for you to watch our other shows with us as well. So thank you so much, and continue making us the ESPN of TV talk. Talking about the ESPN, Wyatt Long. Because he sounds like a wide receiver, bro. Like Wyatt Long is just that name. Now, if you don't remember Wyatt Long, I want everyone to remember who Wyatt Long plays. Wyatt Long is actually the brother of one of the girls that Rosa Ortega was killed in the Rosa Ortega situation.
In the car crash.
So exactly. So in the alleged car crash, which is an alien attack, we're trying to find out exactly what it is. Even though they've given us so much information, we still don't know.
Yeah.
Because it just seems that there's a key element that's missing. And that key element may revert back to the old show, which is actually based on the novels. And we do find out that each alien has a dual persona, one that's on Earth and one that's on their planet. So Isabel actually does play in the original and in the book, she does play a person who's a traitor or someone who's like betrayed her people and has committed some type of crime or atrocity, which makes us think that maybe they're all criminals. We don't know. But this is a new take on it. It's a new take on it, right? So here we are, we find Wyatt Long, and he is for sure a criminal. This is a person who's committed a crime, and Noah's the one kind of getting him off of the crime.
Getting him off.
The crime.
I'm wondering why, what his motives are.
No, I mean, that's the thing. When you're hired as a lawyer, it is to protect.
So he's playing it fair.
He's being a lawyer.
Wyatt Long, and we saw it while he was in the room and Max tried to roll up on him and stuff. He basically is a bad boy, but he has his rights. And but
he doesn't have a right to be racist. See, that's the thing. It's not so much that he's upset about the situation. It's the fact that he plays the racist motivation in the card.
Oh, that would have been me shooting at a Mexican.
Exactly.
And it wasn't funny.
Exactly.
But they're showing him, and then you had the Blue Lives Matter reference. So they're kind of painting his character to be this bad guy. But I must say, the same way I believe that Max didn't know where the tattoo came from, I also do believe to some extent that Wyatt Long has no idea where this symbol came from.
Oh, you think he just randomly doodled it?
I think he doodled it too.
Please tell me you don't agree. Jim, Zuri, please tell me you don't agree with George.
I think he's being controlled. Someone's got it mentally in his head and kind of made him write it.
Thank you, Jim.
I mean, that's a disagreement.
Yeah, so I have a little bit different take. I think he's being controlled.
It's a different take. You're
Controlled.
saying, but you're saying he has no idea, like it's just something. But Jim is saying he's specifically being controlled. Zuri, break this tie.
I really don't know what to think because she asked him a specific question and he didn't answer it. He just doodled and it wasn't like an idle amount of time. So it's like, why did you draw this when she asked you to recount what happened? Like, so.
Hold on, does Wyatt know that they're aliens? Does he know?
Of course.
You think he knows?
Of course.
I don't think that he
No.
knows.
If he did, he's a loud mouth that would
Doesn't
have.
sound like an of course. I mean, I feel like he would.
Let's not-
So you're saying Wyatt's going to tell everyone if he knew?
Yeah.
I think he would too. I don't think he has a very good control of his emotions. So of all the times that he's been with Max in like a heated situation, I think it would have come up.
Wyatt's not a snitcher. He killed Green for basically exposing the little museum thing to Liz.
So do you think there's more to Wyatt? Is Wyatt part of Project Shepherd?
I think Wyatt's definitely a part of Project Shepherd.
Wyatt's in with the aliens.
Also,
He's a goon.
Let's not forget. I would say he's a goon, but he's in with Project Shepherd. Also, let's not forget Wyatt was around when Max's powers went off and was not surprised.
He wasn't phased at all, and that's why Wyatt knows a lot. And I do think he is. I actually agree with Jim. He's being controlled, and that's why he just doodled, because he was just being used as an instrument. Somebody got control over Wyatt.
What if Wyatt is an alien?
Very possible.
But wouldn't he do more? Like with his hate for Mexicans
No,
and what
he-
happened to his sister, wouldn't he use his powers?
Undercover, in a sense. You know, maybe he's a goon the way he comes off, but he could be also an alien. You know, there doesn't have to be clever, smart aliens. He could be just one of those kind of reject ones.
Yeah, he does the dirty work for
Yeah.
everybody.
I don't think he's an alien. Also, I remember the same panel, these two bringing up that Maines is an alien. I definitely don't think Maines is an alien.
Maines,
We haven't seen Maines in a while.
We'll touch on that, but Maines was apparently exposed to the darkness that became a part of his presence that now Mama DeLuca is seeing in Alex.
Well, I was saying to you when he touched that piece of glass. I don't know if you guys remember when they were in the dad's house. So I think that could just be it, or
So it's like something that inhabits him.
I think
So it's like a spirit. He's being.
or he just come in
We need to call him
contact.
exorcist.
This is starting to turn into, instead of aliens, this is more of like a zombie apocalypse happening in front of our eyes.
I mean, we did kind of catch that when Mimi brought up some stuff at first for half a second before it was Maria exposed that it's the plot line to Independence Day, or is it, right? But we will get to, of course, Mimi and Maria later. With Wyatt Long, we hear Noah gives the call to Max, and Noah goes off. It's like, you don't want to go after Wyatt Long. And he's kind of being nice, but he's still being very lawyerly about it.
Yeah.
He's saying, then they'll go after you. And Max is like, well, my record's clean. It's like, they'll go out after the people you love and the people around you, hinting like there's more to it.
yeah, and also that, Max.
And go after Arturo.
Rosa's, exactly.
Rosa's dad. And
Rosa's
of course,
Liz's
Max.
dad.
Yeah.
So that's where it was a
Protect
sensitive.
Arturo.
Yeah, because he's technically supposed to let ICE know what's happening with her father.
One thing that's interesting is that California is a sanctuary state, meaning that they will not report you to ICE.
They're not obliged to.
They just won't. So federally, it's the federal law and the state laws are very different. There's always a conflict between the two, but California specifically will not report activities to ICE.
you.
Now, if ICE goes out of its way, that's on its own. But California state, they do have an underlying understanding. They do not report people.
So in Roswell, it seems a little
It
different.
is New
than that.
Mexico, and in New Mexico, they pull you over. You better have your passport.
Hey, they did talk about moving out, right? I mean, there's
Exactly.
finally at one point the obvious was stated. It's like maybe we should leave this town. And
Which
keep
are
our bags-
means to save people, though. They feel like because of Isabel's danger, which we, of course, need to get to, too.
Yeah.
So that's why. Zuri, are you a Wyatt Long? Do you think that Noah's protection of Wyatt Long is a misgiving? Do you think that Noah should have stayed out of this one?
No, I think Noah was smart to intervene because he also knows that his wife is a part of this too. So, and if his wife is flipping out, he doesn't really know what's going on, and he knows that the brother's in trouble. Like he's living out in the desert. He doesn't really have a real job. They know he's kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Michael, someone needs to ask questions about Michael.
Nah, he's keeping it.
yeah,
That's a
so
good point.
I think that it was a very smart idea for him to warn.
Right. So part of him, he's looking after the best interest of his I guess, ex-wife now in the family. He kind of just wants to keep things in
Is
order.
it ex-wife? It's not really ex-wife.
Are they
They had a
separated?
fight.
He said he left her.
I mean, they left, but as in physically
Taking a
left.
break, probably.
But actually, he kicked her out, to be honest. He threw her
Yeah, he
bags
did.
That
and
is
was
true.
like, you
Yeah.
need
That's
to...
deep.
I know, that's real. Like, what? Like, I didn't expect that or like that from
little
Noah.
much.
Let's be honest, because Noah's character is one where he's such a sweet, tender guy that at the first sign of trouble, you were just like, okay, I'm out. It would be different if he found, like, pictures of Isabel with another guy. That's a conversation, right? That's like, what is this? But it was just like bottles of acetone. What is she doing? He doesn't know she drinks it. What are you're wiping your nails too much?
Or what-
But
Yeah, what
she's
if
not
she-
come home like 3 times.
Like all the time. How about
I
that?
think that's enough for me.
I'm gonna tell you. Okay, so we know who hurt you. So listen, my thing is this, right? With Isabel. Okay, okay, and this is so real. You know, in the first episode, we saw Isabel and Noah being a little spontaneous and freaky, and we do know they have a very adventurous sexual life. Do you think that Noah's expression with Isabel having a sexual life that's so like just spontaneous and
willing,
kinky?
because that's like she's always
Sure,
basically
but do you
satisfied.
feel like that's why he's automatically like, you're doing this with other people too? Because she's, which if so, I hate Noah even more because it's just like, you're taking away her female empowerment. I know Steph Sabra in the booth likes this, but
Maybe. I mean, if she does it with him and she's not showing up, how much can he trust that she's constantly with Michael and Max? You
And
know,
they don't
that-
have a matching story.
Right, and they fumbled the stories a few times.
Jeez.
That was the disconnect. That's
Yeah.
where you got to say, okay, Noah has a free pass with this because
no, you don't leave. You have a conversation.
you have a conversation. But I'm saying in terms of being inquisitive because yes, she is
Yeah, be
usually with the
inquisitive.
brothers. But when the stories didn't add up
Yeah,
and
that
they
was
didn't
shady.
know, he has a right. I'm not saying to just throw her to the curb, but he has a WTF right.
But here's the thing, okay? And this is our generation's problem. If for example I drop my phone and break it, my first thought is I need to go buy a new phone. But if my father drops his phone and breaks it, his first thought is how do I fix this phone? And that's something where we need to pick up. And I would watching Noah and his mentality and how much he adores his wife, I would have thought that would have been his step. Let's get counseling. Let's figure out. Let's help you.
But hold on, Tehran. How do you fix something when you're completely left in the dark of what the problem is? He has no idea of what the problem
We
is.
don't know what brought them together in the first place. How did these two meet and connect?
I feel like Isabel went out of her way and was like, "This is the guy who matches who I need to be on paper." And I'm
Who's
putting
a
it work.
lawyer who can get me out of trouble? Maybe.
Yeah, it works.
I mean, what
It
about that?
works.
I don't know. I'm going with the concept of the Noah that I saw in this episode is way better than the Noah that I saw 2 episodes ago. This Noah who's like, I can't believe I let her down when she needed me most and I backed out.
He's back to his senses.
But how much can you say when you ask someone what's wrong? I can't tell you. Like, what do you do after that?
Who hurt you? So
No,
listen,
but that's
Zuri,
a
good
legitimate
point, Zuri.
question. What do you do?
you know what? You don't leave your wife.
But you ask them, how can I help you? What is the issue? And they say, I'm not telling you.
So sometimes you have to have trust where it's like, I trust you enough to know that when you're ready to speak to me, I'll let you
Yeah,
speak
but
to me.
years.
It's always on her terms, though.
Years?
It's always on her terms, though.
Okay.
She's the one causing kind of the issues, and he's always trying to maybe try for a solution or whatnot. You don't see him screwing up and her trying to give him passes.
Right, like
we haven't seen that.
she didn't do the candlelight thing and have the movies.
Yeah,
Like
she never goes out of her way. Like I said, she does things for Michael and Max.
Those whips and chains were out of her way.
Well,
And
we
he
know she
seemed to like
delivers on that.
And he seemed to like that.
He does.
Let's get into Max under investigation, okay? Max is under investigation. The one that surprised me the most was Jenna, Cam coming in and basically interrogating Max without his knowledge, and even does the first 48 thing where you go in and give them a story and be friends with them and then try to get them to confess to something. She did that with the tattoo, and then we find out about her sister Charlie, who somehow Max never knew about. Like, how deep is your connection?
Right.
And that's why she broke up with you in the first place. That's why she brought you your hoodie and your belt and your Great Gatsby.
Great Gatsby. Well, we know he's a writer, so he has a great taste in literature.
He doesn't have a great
A
taste
cliche
with
taste.
like relationships. Clearly, this guy does not know what he's doing because he can't get to that level with Cam. And look, he got in a fight with Liz last time, argument, and now we open up the first scene. He's getting out. Cam is getting out of bed with him. So that's like his right away go-to move. It's his Band-Aid.
Oh wow, that's a great
Scratching
way to put
post.
it. Yeah, scratching post. When she said that, I was like, eesh.
Yeah.
Eesh.
Here's the thing, though.
Can't break up with a scratching post.
Right. So Max kind of set himself up, and I'll tell you why. And I feared this. Remember the whole date thing? Oh, you're going to take me on a date to go to the movies?
Right.
And he just leaves her, runs off with Liz, and then now he's all shot up because he's protecting Liz. He's throwing it in Cam's face. So that probably raised a lot of questions, but what it did the most is it created a space between them, and then Maines moved in, and we saw that scene where he was whining and dining with Cam. So Max allowed that space for other voices to get in.
Wasn't Maine part of this? We had something with Jenna earlier saying that she had a secret basically multiple episodes ago, where when they had a confrontation that he's like, well, I'm gonna keep it a secret. You have to do something for me.
It was
So we almost forgot.
4 episodes ago where
Yeah.
they met at the basically at the jail cell where
That was the Charlie
Michael's
thing
being-
then.
And here's the thing, right? Yeah, the secret. But here's something else we need to remember about Jenna Cameron. Thank you for your service, served in the armed forces. And so here you never really leave that, right? So she's still and at least somehow being enamored by the hierarchy that exists.
Yeah.
That's where her loyalty lies.
Exactly, a superior commanding officer.
We saw her stand up for him. when he
Exactly.
walked in.
And she still has that respect for that life. And it's also a way, and even though we're shipping Maines as a bad person, I mean, honestly, this is a case of national security. Aliens are amongst us. I mean, let's
I'm
not
gonna give
start
a
with
point.
Alex Jones and the lizard people, let alone this is.
I'm going to give a point to Tehran here. I think I am too emotionally attached to Max to think rationally. And
You have been since the
I'll
pilot.
admit
Don't
I'll
start,
admit it.
Kyle Lover.
I'll admit it. I'll admit it. Which, by the way, is funny that Kyle was in this episode.
At all. Like, we
But
didn't see
everyone-
Kyle.
Travesty,
But
absolute
everyone had
travesty.
a Kyle haircut, so we kept thinking. he
Even
was-
though we went to the hospital, I was expecting to see Kyle a
Yeah,
little.
at some point.
At every point, I looked over at George. Every time we saw Noah, I'm like, "Oh, my boy's there," and it was just that
It was
Noah.
just Noah. Noah looked like
they
Kyle
look
this
so
episode.
alike.
Yeah, I feel too attached to the aliens, and I'm forgetting that you're right. Tehran Maines is doing his job.
Jenna says something very interesting, and I really want to know Zuri's take on the concept of. She says when she talks about the tattoo, she says our bodies are the roadmap to our lives, and she shows the different tattoos. She's like, this one's for my aunt. Then she talks about the bird, and we find out about Charlie and Charlie being locked up, and she like these birds that are free from the cages or whatever. And Jenna didn't stand up for. Do you think that tattoos are a roadmap to someone's life?
You know, I don't have any tattoos, so I don't think too much about them. I think that they are like the jewelry that we choose to like put on ourselves. So I guess they are like symbols of what we stand by. So I guess you could say that. But then you have some people that just get whoever tattooed on them. So I don't
Depends
know.
to who, right? I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes it just
Blueface,
depends.
baby.
Yeah.
Some people are really serious about it and it has a special meaning, especially if it's tied into their family in some way. Others, they just kind of do. I mean, how many people have done those dumb tribal tattoos, you know, for just some reason when you're teenagers and then, why did I do that?
Beach trip.
I think she did
tattoo.
that to like try to pull out of Max why he has the tattoo on his back. I think that was her way of alluding to
She
it,
did.
but she failed.
Well, whatever the reason is, we'd love to know what that tattoo with the 3 circles. We got to find out what that is. And Max storms off as he usually does. So that first investigation failed. Second investigation, we have Maines kind of controlling Jenna Cameron. Do you think that Jenna is working for Maines?
1,000% at this point,
You think so?
especially when
Secret
she
text.
saw the handprint on that little power breaker box in the hospital.
Yeah.
At that point, that was a wrap for me. She's definitely. We saw Cameron Jenna texting somebody. I think that was Maines.
It was
on
Maines, 100%.
She's rolling. So she's on a mission. She's staying loyal to the soil, loyal to her fellow people who serve, and she's on a mission right now.
Zuri?
I'm on the fence because I feel like Cameron, we haven't seen much about her family, but it sounds like she doesn't have too many people around. So I feel like Max may be the second closest behind her sister who was close to her. So I kind of foresee her turning on Maines to keep her loyalty to Max. Like, I think she wants to know Max's secrets, but I do see
Strong.
her.
I need to hear that in predictions.
She dropped that Gatsby stuff and the clothes, and she's dropping Max.
Oh my gosh! The Max hater's back.
To the ground. She's gonna expose him. I feel like now.
Oh, you're. You know what? And the thing is, I hate you so much. But if you might be right.
I will be right with that because this is the sign.
I don't think so.
She's
I
not
agree with
hooking
Zuri
up
there.
with him anymore, and now she's all about bringing him down.
Okay, let's talk about this really quick. Liz, with the serum, and Liz's investigation of Max. Liz knows Max is an alien, right?
Right.
Is Liz going to work with Maines?
Yes. I think maybe we'll hold this for predictions because I have a big thing about Liz here that might shock everyone else.
That's so strong. Liz coming up with serum. Do you think that's a betrayal, George?
So Liz talked about the 3 stages at the top of the episode. It was denial, anger, and then the stage 3 was sadness, which she said she couldn't get to. By the end of the episode, I felt like she finally buckled and got to the sadness. She's feeling that she's feeling the sadness of her sister dying, and she said, I'm a scientist. I don't want to perpetrate death. I want to prevent death. And she's now embracing the sadness that she felt from losing her sister and doesn't want to project it on others. So she's, in my opinion, going to back off of the serum and probably back off of working with Maines because now she realizes her agenda is not to destruct people. And I believe that Maines' agenda is leading towards a path of eliminating and destructing, and she's not with that. She's here to get vengeance for her sister, and if she's out for anyone, it's Isabel.
So here's the thing with Liz's serum. She decided to get rid of it at the end when we find out about Isabel, which we need to talk about Isabel. She did get rid of the serum. Did she make the right decision or not, Zuri?
I think that at first it was a betrayal, but then when I heard Max give reasons why that she shouldn't get rid of it, I was thinking like, well, I personally think that what triggers Isabel is loss, like fear of losing someone. So should she feel like Max may be leaving her, then I feel like she could potentially her life could be at stake. So I think that she should have the serum.
Okay, well, we're going to find out more about the serum.
Does it work even?
Found out. We don't know.
We don't know if it even works.
It really could be poison.
Yeah.
It really
or maybe it could be
poison.
nothing. Could be like, something to add to a protein.
High
So yeah,
fructose
it might have
corn
been
syrup.
We do know we don't know enough about the serum, but we do know a lot more about Maria this episode. And Jim, I know you're a Kyle fan. Are you now a Maria fan as well?
No, because we haven't seen enough.
Of course not.
We haven't seen enough of Maria. I said Mimi stole the show in a sense because she's the one who.
Are you a Mimi fan?
Yeah, I think she's telling some truth. I don't think she's crazy like some of the characters
Thank
think.
you,
I
Jim.
think she's
Yeah.
actually knows more. So you know why?
Yes.
Because she said that Kyle's father was cheating, so she knows some dirt
She's
and some
enlightened, yes.
Yes.
She
No,
knows
I
that
disagree. I disagree because at first she thought she was talking to the dead
Rose?
sister Rose, and
Rosa.
then she turned around and called her her name. So I was like, well, which one is it? Do you remember when she?
She all of a sudden knew it was Liz. She didn't know it was Rosa. No, but
Nobody knows who's
I
Liz.
think
They look
Rosa-
identical.
I think Liz admitted in the
She
where
caught
we didn't
on.
say- She admitted because she did the slip where she's like, "What did Rosa? I mean, what did I
Exactly.
say?" And so it was
And
like a
then
little
from
slip.
that- so she-
and so she admitted it to her. But we do have to find out more about Mimi and her psychological conditions because while they threw out all these different things, they forgot simple things like dementia or schizophrenia. Like she might have a personality
They
disorder
did
we're
say
not
that it
aware
was. They alluded to it at one point, and did they say that it was ruled out?
They said a lot of things were ruled out, but they never mentioned those two being ruled out. And another thing we have to be that should come up is maybe Isabel tampered with her mind. We don't know because if Rosa confided in Mimi, and then Isabel, and we're saying that Isabel's motive was to eliminate the people who knew and said, because the concept was that Rosa might tell her dad and that would
Yeah.
expose everything. And we have seen Isabel go to lengths to prevent
yeah.
exposure. What if she tampered with Mimi's mind as well during a blackout?
The way I'm seeing this is that Mimi is very much with it. Jim said it best. She's aware of the cheating with the father. She was intuitive enough with the switch of Liz and Rosa. Where society is painting her out to be crazy because she knows. She knows a secret that they don't want to get exposed, and we see what happens to people who know something that they shouldn't know. They die.
Like Green,
And
right?
like Green.
Yeah,
And
everyone thought
some-
Green was crazy, and he clearly was not
and
actually.
somehow she slipped through the cracks. She's with it enough to not be dead right now.
Yeah.
And I'm vibing with everything she's saying. She is enlightened. She is
Team
intuitive.
Mimi
Preach
right now.
on, Mimi. Preach on. Give me that truth that I
So-
need to hear.
So with Mimi, what was our overall thoughts about Mimi as a character? Period.
My new favorite character.
Wow, that's strong. I think she's important. I think she's gonna
She
be
plays
the
a part.
She's the new Green with more substance.
Yes. There's a depth to her.
I like that, Jim, a lot. Actually, she's the new Green with more substance. Zuri?
I'm on the fence with her. I didn't like that character switch when she didn't know who she was talking to at first. So,
But is that a show? Even though, is that something she's just doing to
manipulate.
protect herself?
Oh. Well, she's already talking out of turn, like, just not lashing out, but just kind of always throwing random things out there. So why protect herself now?
I mean, she has these random moments of like pure clarity, right? And if I don't know what her psychological condition is. However,
Enlightenment.
there's always a situation where these characters do provide something. There's a ancient Greek character that always could tell the future, but just no one believed them. That was their tragic flaw. So this could be her tragic flaw. And because Maria is the one who actually discredits her and is like, what is this? Isn't this basically the premise to Independence Day? When she's saying stuff, and maybe she was telling the truth. Maybe she was correct.
So Will Smith's going to come save him?
It's more about that they
Hope
are
so.
positioning. We don't know anything about these aliens, and that's why when I say that maybe Maines is on the right side of justice here, and we're just taking it wrong because it's nice to always fight for the underdog. I mean, this is clearly a case of something. Did you like the fact that we learned more about Maria, and did you feel that we even found out more or know more about Maria to begin with?
Yeah, we saw a side of her that's supportive. So she's seen by Alex. We see that little scene with Alex where they say that, where he tells Liz, you haven't been a good friend to Maria. Maria's been, there for you. We see that the depth that I liked is the fact that Maria's hustling right now to support her mom. You know what I'm saying? So we see a depth in her that she really cares.
I still feel like we don't know much about Maria. I think we got more of her mom than we did her. So I want more of her.
There's gonna be more. I think the mom took the stage today, but I think we're starting to get someone with
Finally. And Maria seems
Maria.
to
And
know more.
Michael, Maria and Michael, that little encounter there.
Well,
too.
we know from the past that they had a thing going because Michael does have like a sexual fluidity that goes on, and I think there was a whole thing between them two, and now we're gonna kind of get there as we see in the ending bar scene between them two, and we've seen it before, specifically at the bar.
There is a good point, Tehran. There is a tension building up
There
there.
is.
Yeah, there and something that
hinted
comes from the
towards.
past, of course, and so it's interesting to see how that plays out. Now, let's get to the main issue. Is Isabel dangerous? Do you think it was right that she got locked up in this psych ward, rehab ward thing that they put her in?
No, she's losing her mind. She's just stressed out with not knowing the truth, and she's projecting it all on herself. I don't think she's dangerous as some of the other people might be.
She's absolutely dangerous, Jim. Whatever is tapping into her that made her, I believe, kill Rosa, and she's about to pop off on someone else, and she was talking about in the previous episode, owning it and being destructive. I think she's completely dangerous, but there is this small caring side of her that still fights this, whatever power is taken over her. And you know what, Jim? I may agree with you in the fact that she may not be dangerous, but the crazy spirit zombie venom is dangerous, and it's using her as a tool. It's nesting on her and likes using her for some reason.
Sorry.
I don't think that she's dangerous. I think that she seems like when people are gonna leave her, it's triggered. So I think,
Oh, wow.
I think with Rosa gonna leave, I think that's what triggered it. And I think when Max was really falling for Liz, I think she thought Max was gonna leave. So I don't think that she's necessarily dangerous, but I feel like should an abandonment issue come up again, then I think Liz's life
That
may
is
be at
so
stake.
real,
And
Zuri.
that's why we need this female perspective on
So
this
real.
panel. Let's get into our special segment, Who You, where we do pick a scene or a character that relates to us as a person. Let's go start with Jim. I'm very interested with no Kyle in the episode to see.
My favorite
what
thing
your
was
Who
when
You is.
Kyle. Oh wait, he didn't show up. Man, what a disappointment. Jenna dropping the ties with Max, leaving his book with him, and she's done. Now she's on to bigger and better things.
Zuri?
Oh, I feel like I'm on the spot. I think I'll say I'm with Liz on this. Like at first you want to protect yourself and then you kind of gain some clarity about what's really going on in the situation, think clearly, and do the right thing.
George?
I can't agree with the Liz thing. She's trying to kill people and not kill people. I'm DeLuca all the way. I totally relate to the mom. I'm always the one using my sixth sense to express myself and use my spirituality and get chastised for it, like from people like Tehran, you know.
You feel that tension? That's not Maria Michael tension. Do you understand? Do you understand what that is? That's why Jim's my new BFF. And here's the thing.
George's far away.
That's why I had to put Jim's on. Listen, it's this side. My who you moment was when Maria said, I wanted to be a fun friend. I thought I could do that for a while. That was a very telling understanding of who Maria was, and I can understand and relate to that concept of wanting to be the fun friend, but there's so much more to you.
Yeah.
And so hopefully there's so much more to the show. I can't wait to find out more. We do look up news on the show. We're waiting to see if the show gets renewed. I hope that it does.
Please.
We are enjoying the show a lot.
It caught its flow.
It's
The
getting
flow
there.
needs a waterfall. Let's
It's
go.
getting there. I do feel that it's nice to see a lot more Maria. So let's get some ending thoughts. I like that we're getting more Maria. I hope we get a lot more. I wanted more Michael in this episode. I really like Michael's character.
Yeah.
And I actually did miss Kyle. So
Hey, we all do. I mean, he's a necessary. Bring him back. Give him more featured moments next week. Predictions, maybe?
yeah, I mean, let's get right into predictions.
Yeah.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Oh, everyone's looking at me. I think that Cameron's going to turn on Maines. I think she's going to turn on him because she already lost her sister to not having her back, and I think Max is the next closest thing. So I think that she wants to know Max's life for her own personal reasons, but I don't see her continuing with Maines after I think Maines is a bad guy. So I think once he reveals himself, I think she's going to be undone with him.
I think Maines, I still think he's a bad guy, but I do think he may have a more righteous purpose, as Tehran pointed out. So we might see a little more of his agenda coming ahead. I'm going to ship DeLuca and Liz because she was like, girl, you got sexy. So I think something's going to pop off. I'm going to ship Michael and Maria. Some feelings are going to resurface. And I'm going to say that this sign, I saw the sign, is going to pop up a lot more. It's going to start spreading like the zombie apocalypse. And there's going to be a lot of craziness, people doing things that they're not in control of. And I pray to God, Isabel, please don't get hold of the venom somehow that Liz created and kill yourself, because I'm starting to feel scared, especially with that song that played, that there might be suicidal thoughts happening with Isabel, and I would hate to see her go because she's an amazing character and actress in the show.
I'm sold on Liz. I'm sold on the fact that Liz, by the end of the season, will turn bad and kill off either Isabel or Max, or at least attempt to kill her. I think she's going full-blown bad girl.
Wow, I really like everyone's predictions. My big prediction is going to be, outside of everything you guys said, that there's going to be a low point where things are going awry and Tess will show up. And Tess is, we've been hinted, there's been hints of a Tess that shows up. So it's very nice to see that. We'll see. We'll find out. Let's find out where people can find you if you want to be found. George.
Find me at Mr. George Khouri on Instagram. Tehran, spell the last name.
That's Khouri.
Thank you. And also, if you are listening on iTunes, also listen to Tehran and I's podcast, Imperfect Gentlemen.
Please do, and give that a 5-star rating as well.
I'm at
Zuri.
Shalise on both Instagram and Twitter.
We'll make sure to look for you.
I'm at the Jim Alexander and realtalker.com.
And that's ALEX.
ANDR.
Oh, you're spelling his name now.
Yeah, that's how I feel. That's why I like
He's got it.
Liz on my side. And of course, who am I? I am Tehran all across the board. That's at IAMTEHRAN. Find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is, and on a slew of other AfterBuzz after shows where we talk about everything, and you never know what I'm going to say. Thank you so much, everyone. We will see you same Roswell, New Mexico time, same Roswell, New Mexico channel next week.
Zuri, let's do lunch, new best friend.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.